all know it's called the bionic bomb, the path to blow, the black death.
But what is the other terms for it? That's safe. That about covers it.
Woo!
Yeah!
It's the Golden Weed Show! That's Yes.
And that's Sasha.
And we are live on idobi. I never know if you can hear me or not. I mean, it seems like you can. It seems like the world can. So I think that's good. We are bi-coastal. I am fading into the background of my picture. So if you're watching this, you are watching me slowly disappear and becoming one with the, like, what do you call it? Like I'm like the net, you know, like I'm coming one with the pixels.
You are the lawnmower woman.
Yeah, exactly. But technology is wonderful because we get to do this live. We are live. Ooh, I have a text number I want to give out. I just
Oh, what?
remembered. Yeah. So you can text us at idobi. I forgot to tell you this. I meant to.
Oh,
I've
what?
just been so wrapped up
For
in the world.
real?
Yes. So yes, so you can text us at any time, but tonight would be cool. 877-33 idobi. So that's 877-334-3624. Say hello to the nerds. We can shout you out. I'll tell you how to look at all this stuff after the show, but I will check it periodically. Yeah, we'll be doing that in the future. If you want to shoot us a text, say hi. If you're just chilling, that'd be cool. So it's, let me give it out again. 877-33 idobi is the number. I remember when they would give out like phone numbers with letters and words in it, I would be bummed because I used to have a rotary phone. So I'd be like, I can't do that. That's how old I am. Tomorrow's my birthday, and I am rotary phone age. So that is true.
Pre-touch tones.
Yes, pre-touch tones. And I would be like, oh man, I can't do it. And it would always hang up. Yeah. There was something a little bit satisfying about it, but I'm glad we're the days of the rotary phone are over, and we will never go back. In fact, I don't even know where we're going to wind up now. But find us everywhere in the world. YouTube is great. You can also find us on socials. We're doing our best. We really are. We've been trying to post on YouTube as much as we can. We feel like it's a good place to go. I literally am not going to be able to do the show if I look like this. Do you see this?
Yeah, your pea popper is completely covered in our logo.
My microphone is
your
completely
microphone is gone.
Why?
You're behind the logo right now. You're good.
It's kind of cool.
It is kind of cool.
I feel like
it's very stony. It's very
stony, but it also looks a little public television, which is fine. But we're not low rent, you know.
I wish we were on. We had a public access show. That would be so cool.
This is basically a public access show. I mean, if you really think about it, we broadcast live on the radio. We do a public service. Really, I mean, we're a tax write-off.
like Wayne's World or Sesame Street.
Yeah, we're the same. Wayne's World, Sesame Street, and the nerds. That is. Do you think I should keep it on?
Yeah, just let it fly.
Okay. Well, if you're watching on YouTube, I look really funny. If you're listening right now live, thank you for listening and hanging out with us all the time, every week for so long. We have been doing the Cool Nerd Weed Show, and we'll never ever stop, no matter what's going on in the world. As long as we have the capability to do so, we will be doing this show. That's a factual. So we will always be advocating rights, no matter what they are, but cannabis rights, namely. And we also just like really enjoy talking about it and being about it. We love weed very much, and we assume that if you're listening, you do too, or you're at least interested in the subject. So we have a lot to cover today, I guess, maybe. Starting with so a couple weeks ago, when the world was like kind of on fire, but not like as much on fire as like it has been the last 2 weeks, we talked about Texas. That was the biggest thing in news is Texas was banning weed. They were like, no, or every single thing that has to do with weed.
Yeah,
They were like, no.
Texas was on the brink of canceling cannabis, and but we would like to welcome Texas
Did Tucker
as the
Carlson fix it? He seems to have been on some
oh
sort of
yeah,
argument with Republicans.
with Ted Cruz.
Yeah,
That was
he's Texas,
that was
right?
like one of the best exchanges I've ever seen.
I kept saying it was Ron DeSantis, and I knew it wasn't, but I got my stupid fucking chubby ass Republican governors wrong.
Weenies,
Yeah, weenies wrong.
both
But
equal weenies.
both equal weenies, but it was Ted Cruz, which was very satisfying. And you never want to agree with Tucker Carlson, but it was very, very satisfying. And in other Texas news, they are
Yeah,
not going to ban
Texas
cannabis now.
becomes the 40th state to have a medical cannabis program. Also, in a last-minute effort,
Greg Abbott.
Gregory Abbott, governor, vetoed the ban on hemp THC products.
Yes.
So
they were Texas was medical before, excuse me.
Yes.
But like not like really.
It was very, very limited. Texas cannabis medical program was very limited. It was low THC, no flower, nothing. Very limited conditions qualified. So Texas has expanded their conditions to allow chronic pain, higher THC products, more licensing, so more access.
Great.
And they replaced the 1% THC limit with 1 gram of THC per package limit. So
okay, 1 gram per package.
like,
Jesus of Nazareth.
It's still they're still working it out, but this is
sure
for Texas.
It's progress. Yeah,
progress is happening, and we're going to consider this a win for
this
Texas.
is a W for sure. It's compassionate use all the way. We wish there was some more things that were involved here, but do you want to know what? Like you said, it went from being very restrictive, and this is a good way to get access for veterans, to get access for a lot of people to get access that were worried about losing access. So Texas is a deep red state that said, okay, we understand what the need is for medicinal weed here, and taking it away would really, really hurt. So everybody is excited that Greg Abbott vetoed SB3, except the lieutenant governor of Tejas. He is not happy. Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick. He's angry. He said, it puzzles me why my friend Greg Abbott, Governor Abbott, would at last minute, at about 22 minutes after 11 p.m. Central Time, decided to veto this bill. I say he was mad. And he said it was like a lie. He was like, you lied to me, Governor Greg Abbott. You lied.
You lied to me.
You lied right to my face. How dare you? That's how I assume it went.
It's straight out of Dallas.
Yeah.
Betrayal. Seduction.
Sexual tension. Drugs.
Who killed JR?
Yeah.
Who didn't veto the bill?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
So he's like, and Greg Abbott was like, well, like it helps a little bit because of people wanting it and stuff. And he was
actually
like,
listening.
who cares? The lieutenant governor said.
So Greg Abbott actually listened to his constituents, and
What a concept.
yeah, exactly, and you know, vetoed the bill because it would have actually been wrapped up in lawsuits. There were veterans groups, there were
Right.
many other groups. People had already been petitioning. I'm sure
Mm-hmm.
the people were calling and faxing their concerns to Greg Abbott regarding cannabis, and he did the right thing for Texas.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure. He does not this lieutenant governor, man, you better hope Governor Greg Abbott stays governor. Because he really does not, so like this guy, the lieutenant governor, doesn't want weed to be legal. And he's like,
No,
this is another step to make
yeah,
this recreational. And he's like, I don't like that.
he does not. Dan Patrick does not like cannabis at all. He wants mandatory minimum sentences for just mere possession of cannabis. Mandatory minimums.
Tell me you're
That
a
shit is.
racist without fucking telling me you're a racist, bro. Like mandatory minimums for possession of cannabis.
Are you
What the fuck is
shitting
going
me?
on with you? Like
Yeah.
what a world. So it's it's not without still a lot of pressure from around that. I don't want to give Greg Abbott too much praise, but it is true that he took into account, it is true that, and uh, Lieutenant Governor Patrick says that the federal law does say you can ban it, and it does. So he's like, "Why aren't we doing it?" And like he's really crying about it. But it is also true that there was like 100,000 petition signatures. It would kill the hemp industry. 53,000 people, all their jobs would go, and on an already very messed up economy. So yes, all the lawsuits would come in, but it would also just mess up your infrastructure and economy, and that's stupid. That's just stupid to do. And obviously, Greg Abbott made the right choice in our estimation. So this is a good step. It is because and like it's not like you could just run around carrying weed in Texas. It's still restrictive in many ways, but it'll be very interesting to go through Texas and see maybe the different billboards that are up instead of like instead of the gummy behind
The
bars.
poor gummy bear in
Yeah.
handcuffs.
Mhm. Maybe we'll see something
More
more
along the
encouraging.
lines of
Yeah.
along the lines of like we saw in Tennessee.
Yeah. Yes.
All of like
Where it was it
cannabis,
was
cannabis, cannabis.
yeah, yeah, and I'd like to remind you it's hemp, but it was like get high, smoke weed, like it was everything that which had I really would like to reemphasize also that had boomed, baby boomed overnight. It was not like that just in fucking January when I drove. I mean, maybe it was. I don't live there, but like when I was just driving through the state, it did not seem like we were in a cannabinoid friendly state, even though we were probably it. I still felt very like you can just sense it as a stoner when you're welcome and not welcome. And I still will absolutely not travel through these United States across state lines with cannabis, and nor should you or you or you. um
It is a bad idea for sure.
so don't do it. So just because Texas is feeling a little bit more frisky with their weed laws doesn't mean you are allowed to carry it, because it is still very restrictive. But if you are looking to try weed as medicine in Texas, and now this medicinal weed is cannabis derived weed, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
So if you're looking to try some cannabis derived weed, and if you haven't yet, let me tell you, it's great. And I'm not knocking hemp derived cannabinoids, but I will tell you the medicinal entourage effect is really where it's at. And I think our next story that we're going to talk about, I think a lot of this has to do with hemp, and this is just pure speculation, but we'll get to it. If you're listening to the show, you probably know what we're going to talk about. But like the entourage effect to me is a medicinal cannabis at its best. So if you're in Texas, if you're a veteran, you haven't tried it yet, if you are not feeling well and you fall under these qualifications, I implore you to get your medical card. Now, is this a thing yet? When does this go into effect? This medicinal moment.
Well, I'm
And they
I'm
just
I'm I'm on the Texas.gov
right.
medical marijuana website, and the information is still old.
Mhm.
So I don't know exactly when it goes into effect. It's probably going to take some time for them to actually get the infrastructure in place.
Oh, I see.
But
It's on September 1st, 2025, which is
so
not long from now.
yeah, we've got a couple of months to go.
Yeah, that's pretty soon considering. It's called, if you want to look it up, the Texas Compassionate Use Program. It is HB 46. And there's a lot of information on the websites. I'm looking at mpp.org. That's the website I'm looking at, since apparently the texas.gov isn't up to date.
Oh yeah, yeah. The marijuana policy project is they're on top of it.
Mhm,
A great
mhm, mhm.
organization.
Very much. Yes, we rely on them for a lot of information, and that's great. And as much as the lieutenant governor wants to kick and scream and cry like a little babby, oh man, he lied to me. I'm like, bro, like, come on. This is what you're gonna cry about. If you're listening, I'm sorry I'm making fun of you, buddy, but it's been a rough week, and this is a nice W. So quit your crying. I'm sure he'll try again to get it vetoed and takes these backsies. But as of
And
right now, this is a significant step forward for Texas. So yay.
and if you're in Texas, you could probably vote out Lieutenant Governor Patrick sooner
Yeah,
than
do it.
later. So use your vote. Get these old ideas out of government already.
Yeah, we don't need this.
Nobody
We
needs
don't need
this.
this jazz. Yeah. Nobody needs this. We do need safe access and compassionate use, uh, and a bunch of more people who care about sick people and veterans and those who are farming. And you're not losing your hemp either. So that is also a big deal.
Sasha, do you think leading up to this, would you have thought that Governor Abbott would go in this direction? Because I'm a gambling man, and I would have put my money that he would have actually passed the ban.
I don't know. I do think hemp is so fucking big for the deep red states, especially, and everywhere. It is huge. Hemp derived THC products are all the rage right now, for better or for worse. But I think for better for states that don't have any access, and I think it was a booming market, and I think that in reality, nobody doesn't like weed. They're either racist or they don't understand what weed is. They think it's like heroin. You know what I'm saying? Or you
Yeah,
know what
yeah.
weed is and you know the benefits of it, and you've seen other states adopt these programs, and it's been successful in these states. There has not been a state that has adopted any sort of cannabis program and has like just quickly declined. Like it hasn't happened. So like I probably would have said he would vetoed it, but I wouldn't have expected the expansion of the Compassionate Use Act. I think he would have kept the hemp for, if anything, money reasons. But I didn't
Yeah, for
expect the medicinal thing to happen. That's a
the
surprise.
the fiscal side of everything in Texas. Governor Abbott probably sees the dollars and cents of it all.
Sure, you can just
But
hear, I don't understand myself, but it makes a lot of money. I don't
tax
like it, but
dollars.
money, that's what they always say. And that's fine for them. We get our weed. But
It makes dollars and it makes sense.
I wouldn't bet a lot on it at all. But I'm not completely surprised. Just like how I still think Donald Trump is going to, but not anymore. There's a lot of stuff going on that I think, I don't think he's just going to do like a sweeping weed thing like I used to think in the middle of everything. Maybe, though.
In a shocking turn of events,
Did they release the Epstein
we
names?
released the Epstein
We
files
just
and legalized.
and be better than fucking war. Well, great. We are going to take a break. We're glad that Texas is where it is, and come back and talk about some news that we have to talk about. We don't have a choice. So we will be right back.
Extra, free gram. Cannabis headlines. Everyone grab a paper and read it.
Don't smoke the paper.
Just read it. It's the Cool Nerd Weed Show.
And we're back.
We're back.
Is the Cool Nerd Weed Show. That's DS.
And that's Sasha.
And we're live on idobi Radio. We love you, idobi. Thank you, God, for idobi existing and doing right by cannabis and the world by existing. And we love you and listen to idobi all of the time and listen to idobi do all of the things, especially during the summer. There's a lot of big things going on. And we really appreciate you listening to us all these years and staying with us. And things are crazy, life is crazy, but this is one thing that TS and I for sure we value very much. So thank you. All right, so this next thing is definitely a headline, and it's everywhere, like truly. And every time this comes up, something like this, we obviously have to talk about it, not only because like our moms ask us about it, but because it's worth talking about in a lot of ways. And I am going to say it up front. Like, I'll be giving a lot of opinions here. I think we know by now that I'm not a doctor or like have any doctor fucking knowledge. So I don't know anything. And I'm also not a chemist or a scientist or anything like of the sort. Like, I'm a radio DJ and I know a lot about weed. I do, but I don't know about bodies. So I'm going to talk about what we know we see in these articles that we're reading, but also what I think. and I can't help it. I'm sorry, but I'm going to do that. Okay? It's okay?
Okay. I have some theories too that we'll explore
Okay.
as well.
Okay. So
Also,
okay,
not a
fine.
doctor or a lawyer.
Or a topographer.
Or definitely not a topographer.
So we're none of those things. And we are talking about the article. I guess it came out a couple days ago. Sorry, I have to turn off my background for this. I'm not in an unsafe place. I'm just in an unattractive background. But that I was getting distracted off serious issues.
You were looking like the fire starter.
Yeah. No. Yes.
The
I
shape
don't want to
of the dual mohawk.
want to look like me. So all of the things in the world, every outlet that you've ever heard of has picked up the story. I don't know, maybe it originally came from CNN. I'm not quite sure. But the story is that weed use can dramatically um, increase your risk of dying. This is the headline, by the way, of
Oh yeah.
dying from heart attacks and stroke, a large study finds. And so, their outlets pick it up. Like Vice's headline is marijuana use might be wrecking your heart. Uh, so we'll talk about the study first. So this study has been floated around. There's been like stuff involving the heart. But this new analysis took data involving 200 million people, uh, ranging from age but young, so 19 to 59. They really, really wanted to make sure that we knew that they were young. Because they're like, it's not tobacco. It's not. So they wanted young people. And the conclusion was compared to non-users, those who used cannabis had a 29% higher risk for heart attacks and a 20% higher risk for stroke, which is scary. And that is in the journal Heart. I don't know what that is, which is clearly why, again, I'm not qualified to diagnose anything. So we had always thought the opposite. That's just kind of what anecdotally we've heard. And this is so things that we don't know are how they consumed this cannabis, whether it was edibles, smoking, vaping, dabbing, so on and so forth. It was like it's a flawed study,
For sure.
but it does say that non-users of weed just had less of a risk of these heart troubles and heart diseases. And traditionally, when you hear these studies, you're like, oh, yeah, because of the smoking element, and the carcinogen of smoke. And then that's kind of where your mind goes. But this doesn't say, what it is. So it's like, could be anything. It could be, they could have taken edibles, they could have dabbed. We don't know. But
Yeah.
whatever it is, any sort of THC is going to
Why?
kill you.
Why didn't they ask these people how they consume their cannabis?
I don't know. Maybe because they want to skew fucking. I don't know. I don't know. What I can tell you is now. This is a stupid question, but are they testing cannabis derived THC only, or because this study does go on the CNN article goes on to talk about high potency weed and how like also everybody's dying from that, but this is not even
Well,
included in the study. My question is
the,
because these isolated, they are cannabinoids, the delta
yes,
9s and shit.
yeah.
Okay, yeah. I don't know why for
Can
some reason I thought I was saying it wrong.
the,
Those things, I think, and this is just from my personal use, like they affect my heart in different ways for sure. But that's just occasionally using hemp derived products. I almost never do.
see this the study came from they conducted in Australia, Egypt, Canada, France, Sweden, and the U.S. over like 9 years. And I have the same. We've had similar reactions when we've done the deltas, the hemp derived deltas. They actually um, have
They
elevated
make
my
me
heart
like,
rate.
yeah, me too. Like I've needed a couple talk downs and now listen, like I'm a very heavy consumer. Some might say I need to cut back. Not me, but some might say that. I definitely am a seasoned weed user. And to feel that feeling again, I mean, it's no fun, I'll tell you. It's true. But it's a very different experience than cannabis derived edibles or consumables. So I would like to raise this as a question first. Is also I think if you're going to do science, maybe we can get Cannabichem on the show, young Riley.
You, you
I'd
need
like
to
to know,
use
what's the weed they're smoking? Is it
you
high
need,
potency weed?
yes, you need to use the scientific method. There needs to be a control. Everybody needs to be doing the same thing
The same
over this
thing.
study.
So if you have one group smoking, low potency weed from 21 to 24% that is cannabis derived, 19 to fucking whatever, and they're smoking. And then you have like the next tier up, more highly potent weed. And then you do hemp derived, completely different. And that's hard to do because it's hard really to know the dosage of your hemp consumables. They give you a thing on the package, but I don't know what that means. I know what 10 milligrams of cannabis derived weed is going to do. I do not know what 10 milligrams of hemp derived, like Delta, whatever, is going to do to my body because it's a new thing. And I think it does something different because you don't
I
have the entourage effect. And I don't know. I could be wrong.
I
But I just
I
think
don't
it does
just
something different.
just in my experience as well, and we've done these together, those drinks that we were drinking,
Yeah, man.
almost within they activated very quickly, they metabolized quickly, and then within an hour I felt like my heart rate was elevated. And is this prolonged use of these in this manner of deltas, is it going to contribute to my heart's health in a negative way? I mean,
Now, I would
if I'm constantly like artificially raising my heartbeat,
right.
then it could possibly be detrimental.
So
And is
let's
this where the
say
studies are going?
exactly. So that's a big thing. And if what does Trixie got to say? If true, huge. So like if that's true, there's just huge stories. There's too much to even tackle if they're mixing in hemp derived THC in this study. Then your study's completely worthless to me. It means nothing. It's poops because there's so many variables when it comes to these that you're not telling me. So if you're just like, weed's going to kill you because we said so, that's dumb. And that's what that sounds like to my brains. So let's just say, for the sake of whatever the fuck we're doing here, for the sake of podcast, that it was all cannabis derived weed. Let's just say. And let's just say it was high potency weed because that's what this article talks about. Oh my God, if you smoke high potency weed, you're going to die. So let's just say everybody, 200 million people over the span of all of these countries were tested in cannabis derived weed that was high potency. And all of those people over this many years fucking got heart disease. That's a pretty bold claim and a pretty big deal to say that, to go as far as to say that. I don't know who gains from this other than a lobbyist who doesn't like weed, like fucking Lieutenant Governor, what's his fucking fuck? From Texas,
Dan Patrick
maybe. That
is
guy.
will
Did he
be,
write this study? Does he work at the Journal Heart?
he's the guy that's going to be referencing this article
Sure.
every single time.
And the reason why I bring up the hemp derived stuff and our reactions to it is because I'm not discounting the study. I don't know. And I also don't know, did they ask these people what they're fucking eating or what their physical cardio is for their heart? Are they exercising their heart every day? Are they eating munchies like I do? Like a fucking
Do they
not a
have
healthy one. Like I
do
am
they
not
have
eating carrots when I get munchies. You know what I
do
mean?
they
It's probably
do,
not great for my heart.
do they have pre-existing conditions?
Well, they were young. So that was the whole thing about them saying, well, they were young. It was 1959, so tobacco couldn't have done it. Like that's like literally kind of what they're saying is like, which is crazy because kids, especially who vape tobacco, are winding up with the lungs of literally war veterans who were like a part of nuclear war. like,
Well, yeah, you're
like,
inhaling concentrated nicotine.
so you can miss me with all that. So the reason why it sounds like I'm dismissing the study. I'm not. I only have criticisms of it, and maybe somebody who knows more can tell me more, and I would love to talk to you about it, because what it looks like to me, reading the study, and I did try to read it as much as I could, but it just looks to me that, but again, why are we doing this? Why are we doing this? Why are we doing
Why
this?
why can't
And you know
we
what? I think that this is what they're talking about when they talk about higher potency weed. I swear to God, I think they're talking about the pure THC cartridges,
it's vapes, like specifically
vapes.
vapes that are
Completely
wildly
do.
popular, and the like infused pre-rolls that are wildly popular.
The thing that troubles me the most is so this like a CNN article ends with it saying, if I were a 60-year-old person who had some heart disease risk, I would be very cautious about using cannabis. I've seen older people who are using cannabis for pain or for sleep, some of whom have significant cardiovascular risk, who have also had strokes or have had heart attacks or had angina, and they have no awareness that this may be putting them at greater risk. Oh, that's not the most terrifying thing I've ever read in my fucking life. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And like, what makes me sad is that a lot of people who are that age, our mom's age, grew up in an age where they were scared to smoke weed because they thought they would be put in jail forever and ever and ever. And the DARE program was created. So now they're just finally coming out of this fucking stigma cage, and feeling better in their golden years. And then you have these guys being like, nope, you're going to die twice as quick as the rest of the pop, which is, it's just such a bold claim that I wish there was more on this study that I could look at. I wish there was I wish the study had these details, and it doesn't look like it does. And if I'm wrong, and if we are wrong, please tell us. But
No,
from what we've seen,
I actually clicked on the that heart study
mhm,
link, and it's a dead
yeah,
link.
cool.
So I can't get to the quote unquote study part
All
to
right,
dig into the details of it, because it
that's
goes
very silly.
nowhere from CNN. So if you want so what is that all about?
Damn.
Because I wanted to
well,
go deeper.
well, there's other studies that we've talked about.
For sure. But this is the study that they're referencing.
Right, that they're referencing as of late. What I look at when I look at any of these is doctors going like, well, it probably does. Like the San Francisco Gate article one that with the SF Gate one that we talked about. It's basically being like, we're not like totally sure, but soda and diet drinks are bad for you, right? They give you cancer, right? Well, it's the same with weed. Well, take it all back. I like literally texted you. I was like, well, it's been a good run. And on my grave, she died of cannabis use disorder.
Yeah, we planned out our 1800s gravestones. Died one too many dabs.
On a blinker.
Hitting that double blinker. Remember the double barrel blinker?
When I do a dab, is my heart beating out of my chest? Yes. Yes, bruv. I'm not saying these giant like doses of weed are great for our hearts and don't put strain on our hearts. But I also think if you're going to make a big claim like that, you got to give me some more. I don't want to have a fucking heart attack. Heart disease does run in my family, and I would like to
Yeah.
not. You
Same.
too. You
Same,
too.
same.
You too.
I'm not trying to get there early. I would like to,
No.
on most days, I would like to live a long, natural life.
Now, if I were one of their case studies, I would tell them I do cardio as much as I possibly can. I do eat like shit when I get the munchies, but I don't eat like shit when I don't have the munchies. You know, like I
We're
do smoke copious amounts of weed, both edibles and smoking. You
we're
know,
we're very active people.
yeah, and conscious about what goes in
What
our
goes
body.
in?
I think we'd be the perfect specimen for this. We're between 19 and 59, just about.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
It's always a
So
bummer when you're at the later part of the
at the
demo.
later part, you're like,
You're like,
I've
oh man, I'm a new demo now.
so
No longer 18 to
my
34.
demographic is getting
Yeah.
towards the other end of that spectrum. But
But
still,
if you've seen this
I'm living
around,
proof.
yes, we both are. And I think that it's importante to know these things. And if you are someone like my mom and you do have heart concerns and you do enjoy your cannabis in your later part of your life now that you know how helpful it is and you have almost stopped drinking because of it and you do eat clean and take care of yourself. And what do I say to somebody like her? Oh, well, stop. Stop smoking. Stop consuming. Stop making yourself feel better in every single way. I can't look at this study and say this is comprehensive because I don't know so much about it. I don't know what these people were eating. I don't know what they were smoking or consuming. And I don't know if it was cannabis derived or not. That is so important. So I beg of you, when you see these headlines, first of all, you can always talk to us. You can DM us at Cool Nerd Weed Show everywhere. And you can also email us. All of that shit's in our Instagram at Cool Nerd Weed Show. Everything. So you can always talk to us. You can call us. We'll answer. We love you. We'll do a personal FaceTime. I mean, about weed. But I got a little too friendly there. You were like,
Yeah, call us anytime. Talk about whatever you want.
No. But definitely call us about weed. No, we love you. We love you about everything. And when you see these headlines, don't take them with a grain of salt because I'm not saying that this is completely out of left, but definitely weed does require extra work. It's not a blanket statement like tobacco and cigarettes, which are objectively not great for you. And we've seen what long-term drinking does to you. We've also seen what long-term cannabis use does because people have been smoking weed this whole time. I hate to break it to you, but they've also been smoking this new fangled weed that we've created in this day and age, which is definitely much different than the weed of the oldens. So, yeah, of course there's different things happening to the body. We should
Yeah,
know more.
every single article mentions that the cannabis you're consuming now, if you were consuming in the 70s and the 80s, is much more potent. You know, we're vaping, we're eating edibles, all of the
Right.
things. I
Oh,
don't
of
know.
course it's stronger. You duh. Like, and of course the body adjusts, your tolerance goes up just like with anything. But I think because we do such backflips around weed legally, we've had to do all these things to get it to people. And now we're just in this conundrum of maybe there certainly are some dangers to over consuming, certainly. And more people are not consuming because of it. And that makes me feel sad. That makes me feel sad. So, because there's a lot of benefits to
You know,
cannabis. I still very firmly believe that.
what is
Sincerely.
what's my dad say? Moderation.
Oh,
Everything in moderation.
Yes. Yes, Papa TS. Sage words. Yes. Consume it as you need it. Consume it as you need it, bruv. But also when you see these headlines, feel safe if you have been consuming cannabis. Know where you're getting. We always say this. Know where you're getting your weed from. If you're in a state like Texas or Tennessee, There are very many reputable brands out there now who do deltas and CBs and CGs and
Yeah,
8s and
every
9s.
everything's tested. Everything's tested too. You can scan QR
Mhm.
codes. You make sure everything's clean, and you know exactly what farm it comes from. So
Yeah.
that's actually the beauty of legal cannabis, is that you can know that it's clean and that it has been tested.
Yes. So try not to freak out. And it's okay if you do, but we're here to ease your tensions. We're going to take a quick break and then we're going to end on good news. God damn it. We'll be right back.
The Final Puff with TS and Sasha.
We're back.
We're back.
Oh, you're smoking weed. Actual weed. For the final puff. Usually we do the huff and puff, but today we have some good news to end with. We have a good study, and this study I bet was comprehensive.
Oh yes. Let's see.
Yes, it does look like it was. So it
It
looks
does.
like
Yes.
so the headline is that there was a study conducted, and daily cannabis consumers exhibit few changes in simulated driving performance compared to controls. So there was a control and a variable, and they monitored what they smoked, whether it was basically on average, daily high potency flower or concentrates that were 78% THC. Wow, that's a lot of THC.
I would
Um,
love
this is a
to
great study.
participate in this study. You know, smoke
Yeah.
up, and then 15 minutes later they
You're
they
like,
put you in
"Go
front of
right here."
driving simulator, set you on your course.
This is
Uh,
awesome. Yeah, and so they were like, "Have at it." Basically, I mean, it was simulating driving, and then they had them, like, continue to smoke, basically as you would as an, average too heavy cannabis consumer, and they found that, yeah, we're actually, like, a little bit better at driving. The only thing we do is maybe drive a little slow.
yeah, that was the only that was the only is that the only negative thing, is driving like the fucking speed limit? Like if you're driving
Yeah,
the
it's
speed
basically
limit
like we reduce our speed. Okay,
a
so like the
little
the
more
study
cautious.
was, yeah, so it looks like daily and occasional cannabis consumers reduce their speed following cannabis use, whereas those in the control group typically increase their speed. So instead of going fast, like the commercial who fucking hits a child in the drive-through lane, who's like, "Ah, that's so funny, bro. Oh shit, I killed a kid because I'm so high." So yeah, we don't do that apparently. We actually slow down.
First of
And in
all,
my experience, yes, we do.
why are you walking a baby carriage in front of the drive-through lane?
Come on. It's very responsible. Um, but yes, it's not like that. And we actually are pretty good. Well, I don't know if it says we're good drivers. It just says that we don't really have much of a difference between people who don't really smoke weed or don't smoke weed. So ha. So now and there's no correlations between THC blood concentrations and impaired driving performance. And it says that this is consistent with other studies. Yeah, you can probably find it in any number of our shows that we've covered it because we have. And yeah, there's like no way that you can tell me I'm too high to drive on THC. Now, if you're like
True, true.
crossfading, I can't vouch for you.
Yes,
Um,
this is you should if you are crossfading, you should probably find some alternative transportation.
yeah, or
But
sometimes smoking a blunt will
of
do it.
course, if you're driving in this driving simulator and you've smoked up,
Good for you.
all signs are pointing to you're probably okay.
So we're not telling you to drive while high. We're not telling you to put weed in your car and drive around with it. We're not telling you to drive high. We're not. That's not what we're doing. But what we are doing is telling you about the study.
I concur, Sasha. Do not drive high.
Every time I
repeat,
hear like another
not-
like weed podcast like talk about like anything, like they do put like a disclaimer and they're like, oh, don't do this, well, or whatever.
yeah.
Like people like cover their asses. I'm like, oh shit, we never do that.
We
I mean, we
never,
do it.
ever
We do
do.
it. We do it. We do. We do. We do. We don't want anybody to get in trouble. It's important. And we don't want to get in trouble. And honestly, like we've always said it, if you're too high, you don't want to drive. You don't. You don't. I don't.
I don't either.
So I don't drive. And it's not like drinking where you're like, I could do anything. Like it's when you're high, you're like, no.
You're like, yeah, that's kind of a bad idea.
I'm
not going to do it.
I'm not going to do it. So there. All the things anybody ever thought. So whoever is coming up with some fucking breathalyzer shit, be gone with you, because this is one less thing that you can fucking get us on. Cross this off your list of things you're going to go after. Yay for Texas. Go get your weed. Go smoke it up. What's Texas? The Lone Star State?
The Lone Star State.
Oh, yes. Go the Lone Star State. Smoke your weed. You're not going to have a heart attack. Probably. I don't know. But don't freak out if you do. Well, if you do have a heart attack, then I'm sorry. And
happy birthday to you. You belong in a zoo.
not the monkeys and the donkeys. That song is outdated.
And you smell like weed too. Yay! Don't panic.
Yes, it's organic. Never said that.